Hey, what's going on, 499 fans? It's your boy MusiqNerd, and here is my keys to a win in the rivalry game between Miami and Florida State. I'm actually about to hop on a flight in a couple hours to get to Tallahassee, but I wanted to make sure I did this before I go in. It's going to be a really rough kind of the end. I'm going to be in and out. The game is tomorrow, as I can say, or by the time y'all see this, the game will be tonight. So let's get to it. Um, First and foremost, this is the biggest Miami Florida State game in terms of ranking since 2016, almost a decade. The Block at the Rock. The last time they faced off in a ranked game, Florida State was also the lower ranked team, and Miami was also undefeated, coming off an undefeated start to the season, where they had some impressive wins. Not as impressive as this season. There are some similarities here, but I basically Florida State lost their first ACC game. We're coming off into it. I think the difference here is I think Miami is a little bit more talented this time than it was that time in 2016. But it's always nice to kind of look back and see some of the similarities when you come through the last times that these teams used to play. This game really reminds me, truly, of a little bit of 2013. Except I think the roles are a little bit opposite. I think that Miami is the more talented team, the more balanced team, and I think that Florida State's an up and coming team. Being surprised after what happened last year, being a little bit of more of an upstart than Miami was. But let's get to the keys to the game. Well, the keys to the game, well, as is always going to be for Miami, control the line of scrimmage. Your offense and D line, they're elite, so you have to prove it. You have to go out each game and prove it. While I do not think this is the most talented team that we will play this season, I still contend it's probably going to be Florida will be the most talented team. I do think this is the most well coached team that will play this season. You know, Notre Dame I think was well coached, but I think Florida State's a bit better coach, and I think Florida State will use their weapons a bit better than I think Notre Dame did. I think Notre Dame made a big mistake about not using Jeremiah Love in the game against Miami. I do not think that Florida State is going to make the mistake of not using their weapons against us. They're going to do everything that they can, especially because Malzahn is going to do everything he can to manufacture a running game. Now, I do not think that Florida State is going to be able to go straight up and run against us. I think our defensive line is too good for that. But I think that Gus Malzahn is really good about getting out on the edge and making sure that his players have everything they need to make good plays. So, that being said, I really do think that Gus Malzahn is going to find a way to manufacture a good running game here. So, secondly, Miami has to get their own explosive plays in the offense. I think Florida State will be able to get a couple explosives. My hope and my thought is that Miami will be ahead enough that it won't matter when they get them. But Miami has to get their own explosives. I know the forecast right now is that there's going to be rain. That does concern me a bit because after what happened in Florida, contrary to what other people will tell you and pundits are saying that it didn't rain that much, my brother was there. Apparently it rained all day, so that had a big effect on the game. But even with it, I know Carson Beck won't make that mistake. He was off. He has to have a little bit more, and hopefully he used the bye to get a little bit more on track with his receivers, and hopefully the return of JoJo Trader. As of right now, he's not on any injury list, so he is set to return. But who knows what's going to happen because the other players are playing well. So I don't know if they want to mess up that rhythm. I don't know if they use the body to get him up to speed. We'll see. But I do think JoJo Trader, I do think Jordan Lyle need to play this game because I think those are the two players I think are the most explosive on Miami, and I think that's why you've missed it. I mean, Malachi Tony has been great, but still he's at the slot, so him kind of like he can generate some explosive plays. So can C.J. Daniels, and so can Fletcher. But the explosive plays they're more like they can be from 20 to 30 yards. I'm thinking JoJo Trader and Jordan Lyle can go from 50 to 60, and I think we're going to need some plays like that in this game. And the third thing, play your game. Play smart. Control the game. Do not get up in the pageantry. Do not get up this game. You cannot make this game bigger than it already is. This is the biggest game of the year. You have to treat it that way, but you have to make sure that you're staying inside yourself. Miami has a great game plan because Miami is a great team already. Miami has a great offensive line. Miami has a good defense. Miami has a great offensive line. They have a way they can wear you down. They can beat you up. They're more physical than you. That's how they win games. And it's the simplest way to end games. It's not sexy. It's boring, but you know what? It's effective. And the thing is, in a year where you don't really have a dominant team, if you have the best sure way to win, that's how you should do it. And I think, especially in this game, where I think you do have a lot of advantages in the trenches. And I'm no disrespect to Florida State and everything. I think they played very well the first 4 games, but I think one thing that Virginia exposed is that there are a lack of identity in the trenches. I think Miami should dominate in the offensive line and defensive line, and they got to play like it. So I don't think you get too cute. But the thing is, I don't really think this team is in the mode of it. I think with a veteran leader by Carson Beck as well, I don't think he'll be like. I think he'll be fine. Hey, I'll hand it off 40 times. I'll throw it 20 times. Whatever needs to be done to get the win, because you need to get in there, get the win. Because it being the first road test, it being the first ACC test, the thing is, all these games have been good. You know, these wins have been great. Winning over Notre Dame, beating USF, beating Florida, that's great. But the fact of the matter is, it counts to nothing towards the ultimate goal, and the ultimate goal is to win an ACC championship and to compete in the college football playoff and get to the national championship. That goal starts tomorrow or today when y'all will see this. So I think Miami has to make sure that it does not get ahead of itself. It takes care of the ball. You don't want to give Florida State any type of chances. This team is talented enough to execute, and they will be. If you give them a short field, the game can turn into something that you want. That being said, I think Miami is too disciplined. I think Miami is too talented. I think Miami is too big in the trenches for Florida State. I think Florida State keeps it close. I think it's like 20-14 heading into half, but I think Miami stretches it out in the second half. I think Miami wears on Florida State. That's what I think. I think that it stretches out to the end. I'm actually going to mirror my brothers here. If y'all saw the podcast, which y'all should, please. It was awesome. Please check it out, please. I think Miami stretches it out to 31-14. I agree with my brothers with this one. And so then we'll see what happens. And we're going to be there at the game, hopefully. I'm going to be bringing my new camera and stuff like that, trying to bring some stuff, trying to bring some content for y'all. Hopefully y'all love it. And thank y'all so much for the support. Like, subscribe. Off 29th, your boy MusiqNerd is out. See y'all at the game if y'all be there. Go Games. Beat FSU. Out.